Who is Galileo Galilei? Have you ever heard of a man named Galileo Galilei? He was the first person to use a telescope to study the stars. And he also discovered that the moon had craters and mountains instead of just being flat. He was also sentenced to life in prison by the Catholic Church because it did not like his scientific discoveries. Want to learn even more about this famous scientist and mathematician? Great! Let's take it all the way back to Pisa, Italy, on February 15th, 1564, the day that Galileo Galilei was born. Galileo was the oldest of 6 kids, and his dad was a well-known musician and music theorist. He spent 9 years of his childhood studying at a Catholic monastery in Florence, Italy. In 1583, he enrolled at the University of Pisa to study medicine, but later switched to mathematics. Unfortunately, Galileo ran out of money for college 2 years later and had to drop out. This did not stop him from studying, though. He continued to study mathematics and supported himself by teaching mathematics and even art. Galileo became especially interested in studying forces of motion. One day, while he was teaching, Galileo noticed a chandelier hanging from the ceiling that kept swinging back and forth. He also noticed that the swinging took the same amount of time whether or not the chandelier swung a lot or just a little. This discovery challenged the current beliefs at the time and came to be known as the law of pendulum, which led to the use of the pendulum to keep track of time. Wow! Around the year 1609, Galileo learned of the telescope, which had been invented in the Netherlands. Later, he built his own version and made a few improvements. As he was using his telescope, Galileo discovered some interesting things, such as the different phases of the planet Venus and the discovery of 4 moons revolving around the planet Jupiter. Here's an interesting fact. In Galileo's honor, these 4 moons are now known as the Galilean satellites. Galileo also studied Nicholas Copernicus's theory that the sun was the center of the solar system and provided evidence to prove this theory. He shared his knowledge in a book called Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, which ultimately led to his arrest and imprisonment by the Roman Catholic Church. But we will get back to that in a minute. Here are a few other of Galileo's discoveries and inventions. Discoveries: Saturn's rings, the planet Neptune, sunspots, inventions, thermometer, pendulum clock, geometric compass. During Galileo's day, the Roman Catholic Church was the institution that held all of the power, religiously and in the government. Galileo's studies and findings brought him into conflict with the church. This is partly because the church still taught that the earth was the center of the universe, even though that was not true. Galileo was told to not teach or defend Copernicus's ideas, but he continued to do so anyway. He was branded a heretic, or unbeliever, by the church. This led to him being sentenced to life in prison, which was soon changed to house arrest. Here's an interesting fact. The Catholic Church officially apologized for arresting Galileo in 1992, 359 years after Galileo's death. Better late than never, right? Galileo became blind in 1637, but still continued to work, publishing another book just a year later. He died on January 8, 1642. Now that we have learned some cool new facts, let's review. True or false? Galileo invented the telescope. False, but he did improve on the design and used the telescope to make his own unique discoveries. Fill in the blank. Galileo provided proof that the blank revolves around the sun and not the other way around. Earth. True or false? Galileo discovered 4 of Jupiter's moons. True. These are called the Galilean satellites. Great job, friends. Galileo Galilei was a true trailblazer who courageously shared new science and math during a time when it was kind of scary to do so. There is a reason why he is called the father of modern science. Maybe one day, you will have the chance to stand up for something you have discovered and be brave, just like Galileo.
Hope you had fun learning with us. Visit us at learnbright.org for thousands of free resources and turnkey solutions for teachers and homeschoolers.